I want to have a brief update with you about what's going on in Arizona and in America Fest and with the Arizona gubernatorial election. It's actually becoming even more cartoonish and pathetic and humiliating than what we saw after the 2020 election with Donald Trump. Kari Lake, who lost the 2022 Arizona gubernatorial election. That's it. There's no other. That's the story. She lost. Her opponent got more votes. She is now calling for a new election. And there are people around her who seem to be encouraging her. We're going to go to our first clip. This is from the last whimpers of America Fest, an event put on by Turning Point USA. Here is Kari Lake speaking to Charlie Kirk, and they now want a new election in Arizona. All that happened is Kari Lake lost. Understand that.
What is the remedy we're asking for? I think that we need a new election. I think that there needs to be a new election.
Yep. But we can't have the same clowns running this election. We can't put it back into the hands of people who have bungled the election time and time again. And yes.
Now there's an important little detail in there, which is in some alternate universe, which we might enter in the next clip I'm going to show you, by the way, but in some alternate universe where you get a new election, you know that if they did the election and then Kari Lake lost again, they would just say the same people ran this election. This election was just as biased and fraudulent and rigged as the first one. And we know that that would happen because it's what we see when they do recounts and audits. Every single time you get an audit to the and again, when you say an audit, what is it that they want? They do an audit and it turns out the result was fine, or even that the Democrat actually won by more. And then they come back and they say, that wasn't really an audit. All they did was recount the same fraudulent ballots. We need signature verification. We need curing. We need sautéing and smoking and grilling. We need to do all these things to the ballots to figure out whether these should even be counted. Because at the end of the day, they will adjust their allegation of what happened simply to fit whatever narrative they need at that moment. At one point, the problem in Arizona was people didn't get to vote, and that hurt Kari Lake because of tabulators and power circuits and all these different printers. People who wanted to vote didn't get to vote. Then the story shifted to so many people voted in Arizona who shouldn't even have voted. And it was, and tons of Republicans voted and their votes were counted for Katie Hobbs. Wait a second. Was the problem that Republicans weren't able to vote, or was the problem that Republicans were able to vote in huge numbers, but tons of their votes were counted with Katie Hobbs? Which of the two is actually the problem? And it's both, depending on what's going on. One other really funny moment from this interview with Charlie Kirk, Kari Lake explains her process for hiring attorneys, and it's pretty damn funny.
And it was a valley-wide ambush is what happened.
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. And they're trying to tell us this is normal, par for the course. Don't insult, hey, Stephen Richard, don't insult my intelligence. We know what you're up to, and we're gonna put you on the stand and ask you a few tough questions. So right. I feel very confident. My team is great. My attorneys are true patriots. We had attorneys who did walk away because the left is threatening them with their ability to make a living and practice law. And some of our attorneys said, look, I got mouths to feed. I can't do this case. I don't want to be sanctioned. So I really love, I got to a point where I said, I'll take anybody. We'll take Better Call Saul to come on in here. Are you a patriot? Are you willing to fight? Are you willing to risk everything on this very important case? And that's who we have assembled, true fighters. And we're going to court tomorrow and Thursday. And we hope for a quick, ruling on this.
Yeah. It's evident that absolutely anyone can be Kari Lake's lawyer. That we've figured out, and that is abundantly clear. So there's not going to be a new election. Katie Hobbs is going to be the governor of Arizona. Katie Hobbs won, Kari Lake lost. But before we completely get off of this topic, I have to show you someone who truly does seem to be living in an alternate universe. The science tells us that one of the best ways to get consistent deep sleep is lowering your core body temperature. When your body stays cooler at night, you're more comfortable and your sleep is better. Our sponsor, Sleep Me, is the home of Chili Sleep, the customizable, climate-controlled sleep solutions that can improve your sleep by keeping you cooler at night. There are 3 different Chili Sleep systems. There's the Ooler, the Cube, and the new Dock Pro with double the cooling power. All 3 systems are water-based, temperature-controlled mattress toppers that fit over your existing mattress to provide you with your ideal sleep temperature. You can go as cool as 55 degrees. You can go really hot if you want. I keep mine at 60, beautiful temperature for me. Don't wake up hot and sweaty. Chili Sleep keeps me asleep all night. It feels great. I didn't know it was possible to love sleeping even more than I already did. Go to sleep.me/Pacman to learn more and get 25% off your new Chili Sleep system. Click the link below to start staying cool at night.